We are live!
Hello!
Tell us where you're watching from. E aí galera, estamos ao vivo. Comenta aqui embaixo pra gente de onde é que você está assistindo essa live agora.
To warm our hearts, let's start with this beautiful song by Michael Jackson, Heal the World.
Here we go.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. In this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways together if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place, make it better place. Heal the world. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares of joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this place we cannot feel. Feel our dream, we stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love is not fun, it's growing. So make a better world, make a better world. Heal the world, make it better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place, make it better place. Heal the world, make it better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place for you and for me, for you and for me, you and for me.
Better place.
The planet sustains the life of every living being and has done this for millions of years, generously offering land for planting, forests, oxygen and water. Nature is the giver of life.
Even knowing this, we are destroying the earth, extinguishing animal species, destroying the forests and lands that sustain us, polluting rivers, seas and even the air we breathe. We We are all interconnected in one great tapestry of life, and when nature is harmed, we are harmed.
"50 years ago, a visionary man brought together leaders from all over the world for the first UN conference on the environment in Stockholm, where World Environment Day was established.
Since then, almost nothing has been done to reduce the damage we have inflicted on nature.
If we are to prevent the worst from happening, we're going to have to restore Mother Earth. We're going to have to restore the damaged ecosystems, the deforesting, the mining, all these fracking and all these horrible things we've done to Mother Earth. We have to restore those sites.
Because for indigenous peoples, forest is our supermarket, our pharmacy, our life and livelihood. Forest is our culture, our identity, and our economy.
We are the caretakers of Mother Earth. And through ceremony, we have a process called customary adoption.
We need to understand that our responsibility is to ensure that our children and our grandchildren have a future. We are responsible for the state of the earth and the environment.
We always respect the natural environment. When we see the sun, the fire, and the earth and the air and the water, to us those are natural laws.
Please, please, please do your best to learn how to restore Mother Earth in a gentle way.
We are here to celebrate the 50th World Environment Day and make a tribute to Maurice Strong,
the man who in 1972 warned us and pointed the way forward to a sustainable world.
Let us together restore this precious planet.
Only one feeling,
Only one purpose.
Only one Earth.
Hello guys, I am Evandro Tiburski.
Hi, I am Fabi Terada.
We are live, so tell for us where you're watching from. It's a great pleasure to be with you today to give you a good messages with amazing team of celebrities and authorities from all over the planet.
And we are very happy to be here with you on this day, World Environment Day. It has been 50 years since mankind put it on the calendar. But before we tell you the story, we want to introduce you to Anjos, who is in New York City right now.
Hi guys, it's awesome to be here tonight on a day that for us environmentalists makes so much sense, to the point that we think it should be celebrated every day of the year. Why? Because it's a miracle for us to be alive. Imagine, we live on a solid rock that moves at 67,000 miles per hour. It's very fortunate we won't hit anything. But even though we take it for granted, humankind takes life on Earth for granted. And in order for us to survive, we're going to have to change that. Only one Earth will bring you ideas, but also innovation. You can watch this live at METAVERSE at All1 TV. There you're going to have an immersive experience interacting with other participants. It's quite interesting. The link is below for those of you that want to watch. But before we go anywhere and start going deep on the live, Evandro, do you have some music to share?
Yes, Anna, we have a great group from Colombia. They are a big advocates of the earth.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Somos Aterciopelados y queremos celebrar el 5 de junio, el Día del Medio Ambiente, el día de nuestra mamazota naturaleza que nos da todo y que es lo más hermoso y a la que tratamos tan mal.
Sí, la invitación es para que cuidemos la biodiversidad, para que cuidemos todos los ecosistemas, el agua, pensemos en el futuro, tenemos la capacidad de ser el cambio, de ser parte de la solución. Entonces, 5 de junio, celebrando el Día del Medio Ambiente, de la tierra, de Pachamama.
Soñemos un bosque verde. Soñemos un bosque verde. Soñemos, soñemos, soñemos un bosque verde. Mágicos seres del bosque vienen, me hacen compañía y me cuentan sus secretos y me dan sus instrucciones. Hay que seguir cantando, hay que seguir bailando para irnos liberando, recobrar nuestros poderes. Mágicos seres del bosque, espíritus milenarios me relatan sus historias y me dan sus instrucciones y me van comunicando que ya vienen avanzando y que amor van irradiando a sanar nuestras ciudades. Soñemos un bosque verde. Soñemos un bosque verde. Soñemos, soñemos, soñemos un bosque verde. Soñemos, juguemos, cantemos, sembremos, bailemos, riamos, cantemos, no talemos. Soñemos, juguemos, cantemos, sembremos, bailemos, riamos, cantemos, no talemos. Cuidemos, no talemos, protejamos, conservemos. Cuidemos, no talemos, protejamos, conservemos. Pachamama, te dedico esta canción, germinando brota de mi corazón, pa' que paren la violencia y el horror y vivamos todos juntos paz y amor. Pachamama, te dedico esta canción, germinando brota de mi corazón, pa' que paren la violencia y el horror y vivamos todos juntos paz y amor.
Hello, my name is Taya Nightingale and I'm a 16-year-old planet advocate and organic gardener. Sustainability is at the core of who I am. I dream of a greener future, and I take action on this dream every day, working to make it a reality. I have led a youth art contest about climate change in my city, highlighting concerns and hopes. I have organized donations to Tree Canada within a student-run company I was a part of. And I volunteer weekly at my local sustainable garden that is watered using collected rain. These are some examples of how I take action. But beyond the details lies the driving force behind them all. And this force is a blend of inspiration and compassion. I feel a great connection to the environment, a large piece of my heart reserved for the immense joy I get when I am outdoors, exploring parks and forests, harvesting produce for donation to the food bank, and admiring the water I want to protect. Inspiration is within all of us, and it takes shape in infinite forms. I want you to take your passion and transform it into action, whatever that may look like, because that's how we, as youth, are going to change the world.
And I'm so honored to be a part of this great event, most importantly because it gives us hope in these difficult times. The coronavirus pandemic affects all of us, but especially the indigenous peoples of the Amazon and other forests around the world. We stand shoulder to shoulder with these rainforest guardians during this period of grave threat to their lives, cultures, and homes. I believe the regeneration of destroyed forests is key, and that by combining indigenous wisdom and ancient knowledge with modern methods, we can achieve a lot. For instance, in the Xingu indigenous territory in Brazil, an amazing forest seed bank initiative is already helping to recreate a real rainforest. Right here, right now, we are planting the seeds of a new way of thinking, collaborating, and living together. Whether you live in a city, a forest, or someplace in between, we are all in this together. No matter who you are or where you call home, you can contribute. Let's come together to learn more, raise greater awareness, and show our solidarity with those fighting to protect the world's forests that are so vital for human survival.
It is great when we see civil society uniting around projects of sustainable development. When we see politicians, it's even better. He's an American journalist, environmentalist. He was Vice President of the United States and he won a Nobel Prize. Al Gore with you now.
50 years ago, under the leadership of my dear friend Maurice Strong, world leaders joined together to adopt the first ever global declaration on the environment, the Stockholm Declaration. In the 50 years since, we have made significant strides in protecting our planet. We have outlawed some dangerous chemicals that polluted our air and water and created a hole in the ozone layer. We have identified the significant threat posed by the climate crisis to our planet and its people, and we have developed the solutions to address that threat. But we have thus far failed to deploy those solutions in time, much less to do so equitably. So now, on this World Environment Day, we simply must deliver on the promises that our leaders have made over the past 50 years now. I know the scale and scope of the climate crisis, the crisis of biodiversity loss, and other environmental threats can make these challenges feel overwhelming at times, but I'm optimistic that we can solve them. And I'm optimistic for three key reasons. Number one, we have the solutions available that we need to take action. Scientists and energy experts agree that we have all of the tools and technologies we need to cut emissions in half by 2030 and put us on the path toward net zero emissions by 2050. We have what we need now. Second, investing in the solutions to the climate crisis and to protect our environment are not only good for the planet, they will boost our economies, and they will create jobs all over the world at a time when we need them. And third, I'm optimistic because of all of you. The progress we have seen recently from businesses, governments, and every corner of society is thanks in part to the incredible climate activism we've seen over the past few years. We have to keep that up. We have all the tools we need to solve the climate crisis. All we're lacking is the political will, but if you ever lose faith that we can indeed follow through and actually solve this crisis, please always remember that political will is itself a renewable resource. Let's renew it. Thank you.
Maurice Strong was a brilliant, unique and historic figure, and he had a great passion for the cause of the planet. Everyone knew him as a true gentleman, and by the New York Times as the Earth Guardian.
A quintessential Canadian that knew that hardship, poverty, and struggle should never have to be experienced. A remarkable man that brought to the world's attention the fact that we could not keep exploiting Mother Earth without consequences.
Maurice Strong was one of the most consequential global leaders in the past half century. Before others, he understood that global problems require global solutions, that economic development and the environment are not enemies, they are two sides of the same coin. I watched him up close at Rio and in the 2 decades that followed. In Rio, he gave us a masterclass in global leadership. He insisted that all hands be on deck. That includes the private sector, it includes scientists and NGOs, as well as governments and indigenous people and protesters. It was a dynamic and thrilling time with huge consequence. He was the conductor of the orchestra, having assembled the orchestra. He nudged us, he encouraged us, he was firm with us, he demanded a lot from us with big impact. He understood, as his wife Hanne did too, that actually the changes we need require a change of spirit as well as a change in policy. And so he assembled a group of indigenous religious leaders who can remind us of the link between the human spirit and nature. I worked with him almost daily when he was the chief advisor at the World Bank and I was director of the Environment Department. He understood transformational institutional change better than anybody I know. And then he saw it through at the World Bank. At this time of Rio Plus 50, we need the spirit of Maurice Strong more than ever. Visionary, action-orientated, demanding change and being part of that change. Multi-stakeholder in his approach, embracing, caring for the future. Thank you, Maurice. Thank you, Hanne.
No one has done more to build and guide the international environmental and sustainable development movement. Strong entered the world of international relations at the United Nations as an accomplished business leader with extraordinary talents as a master organizer and convener. He also combined great respect for science with a deep appreciation in our interdependent world of the urgent need for shared spiritual ideals and ethical values. He took seriously the warning of scientists regarding the global environment. He also understood that reason and science alone are not sufficient to change behavior and compel transformative action. Spiritual awareness and ethical values are also essential. Strong's endeavors to promote an integrated spiritual, ethical, and practical vision for building a just, sustainable, and peaceful world culminated with the Earth Charter Initiative. The Charter was launched in 2000 and has been endorsed by over 7,000 organizations worldwide, including UNESCO. What I hope young people will take away from this celebration of Maurice Strong's life and work is a deep understanding and commitment to the integration in all spheres of the head and the heart, of knowledge and compassion. I will always be profoundly grateful for my friendship with Maurice Strong and for his courageous, wise leadership.
He worked side by side with the scientists. Let's hear about what they are saying. Our message comes from Brazilian Gaia scientist Antônio Nobre.
So let's say 200 years ago, there were 3 trillion of trees, big, large trees in the forest in the world. Today we have less than half of them. We lost half of all trees that Earth once had. This is very incredibly serious situation for us, because the more science investigates the role of forests and trees for climate, the more we understand we are losing not only the lungs of the planet, but we are losing the heart, the kidney, liver, because the big ecosystems, they are key in keeping Earth's atmosphere, the Earth's oceans, and all the environment fit for us.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yes.
We have to change our behavior. Our footprint on Earth will cost us more than we could ever pay. Another band that has a strong commitment to nature is Café Tech Viva.
Here we go.
Por todas las selvas, por todos los bosques, por las montañas, los valles, los ríos, la abuelita mar, por todos los espíritus, las piedras, los vegetales, los árboles, todos los animales de mar y tierra, salvajes y domésticos, en cautiverio y quienes son y serán asesinados para nuestro alimento y vestido. Para los insectos, el reino fungi y coral, agradeciendo todas las bendiciones que nos entregan cada día, deseando que nuestro corazón desarrolle los atributos de la compasión y la empatía, y que podamos comprender nuestro dañino proceder.
Yo dije que no, ella dijo sí. Yo dije que sí, ella dijo no. Al final no importa, es algo que Dios ya decidió. La muerte dijo sí, yo digo que no. La vida dijo no, yo digo que sí. Al final, ¿qué importa si muerto en vida sobreviví? Es una cuestión de tiempo, tan breve este momento en que eres y en que soy. Tú mañana ya te fuiste y antes me dijiste, el futuro es hoy. Traigo este presente por las que has pasado, ha sido pesado añorar ausentes, todo se soporta aunque esté nublado, sigamos de frente. A paso paulatino, aún no me cansé, unas voy a pie, otras yo camino, la verdad no importa porque no sé.
Music makes miracles happen. It united one of the greatest DJs with a Brazilian legend of popular music. Now, I have the honor and pleasure to introduce to you DJ Carlos Souslinger and Jorge Mautner, Maracatu Atômico.
Manama
From a young age, Maurice Strong used to love nature, but he also cared for the poor and the marginalized people. So his wife, Hanne Strong, it was his long life partner. She's a great environmentalist and the one that knew him best.
And, I mean, basically, we stole the future of our young people. I mean, you look at what's happening in India and Pakistan, extreme heat. I mean, people are dying from heat stroke. I mean, no rain, too much rain. I mean, you look at Oregon now, all the berries are moldy. And then you look at where we are at here, fires, mega droughts, the rivers are down. You know, the Colorado River is down to almost nothing. And the Rio Grande is not doing much better. So we have now molested the elements to a degree where everything is out of whack. And now we're going to have to pay the price. And it's mainly on the shoulders of young people. They're inheriting a totally imbalanced world that is going to be very, very dangerous. The Arctic, you know, he was a very young man. And he spent 2 years in the Arctic. And first he lived with Hudson Bay, you know, the big gun that was up there, you know, organizing, you know, basically looking for resources. And, you know, this man, you know, he treated the Inuit, you know, he really ill-treated them, lack of respect, you know, and so on. So Maurice moved out of his house and moved into an igloo with his, you know, Inuit family. And when he left there, he spoke fluent Inuit. And this is where he really learned about environment.
And it was amazing to meet a man like him who can communicate almost with everybody. And that conference was so successful that it led to the General Assembly at the United Nations to approve the establishment of the United Nations Environment Program. And then I met him later in Geneva in the temporary headquarters till the new permanent headquarters in Nairobi completed. He asked me to be the United Nations Environment Program regional representative for West Asia. And I remember it was difficult at the time because I was director of Department of the Environment in Kuwait. But there is no way, you know, Maurice is so convincing that you cannot say no. So I remember I asked the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Kuwait, and then he said, well, if they want my approval, let them write to me. And I called Maurice, and he did write. And then they approved, the Council of Ministers in Kuwait approved me joining UNEP as the Director of Regional Office. Of course, I had a long experience with him. I really find that he was kind of expert in communication and with his ideas, great ideas, I would say, not only in the field of environment, but in all human relationship. And he visited me once in Beirut, and then we traveled together to some of the countries of the region. And I remember we had a long meeting with King Khalid Al Saud, the one who succeeded King Faisal. And it's amazing, as I said, that Maurice could communicate with anybody, you know, with kings or with any human being. And then, to my surprise, of course, that he left, we all thought on vacation, and then he for some reason, I don't know, he took the chairmanship and chief executive officer of Petro-Canada. And he left us, and then I decided, of course, after completion 2 years, to leave the United Nations Environment Program. But I continue with our relationship. I came to visit him here, he came to visit me in Kuwait, and yeah, that was it's a long, I could speak for days maybe about Maurice, but I would say he was amazing in communicating ideas and convincing people.
It's amazing that he lived with the indigenous people in the Arctic. He must have learned a great deal. Mr. Strong lives in Creston, Colorado, where they both established a spiritual community back in 1988.
He's a Uruguayan singer and songwriter, and with his viola paracho, he enchanted the world with ballads full of love for the planet. With you, Jorge Drexler.
Olá a todo mundo, sou o Jorge Drexler, estou aqui em Madrid e quero mandar especial saludo para todos os líderes indígenas dos povos originais americanos, os defensores da vida e para todas as organizações que me têm feito a honra de me convidar para participar deste acontecimento tão importante. A primeira música que eu vou cantar se chama Polvo de Estrellas, Pó de Estrelas, e fala precisamente do valor da vida.
Una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale, una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Se aprende en la cuna, se aprende en la cama, se aprende en la puerta de un hospital. Se aprende de golpe, se aprende de a poco y a veces se aprende recién al final. Toda la gloria es nada, toda vida es sagrada. Una estrellita de nada en la periferia de una galaxia menor. Una entre tantos millones y un grano de polvo girando a su alrededor. No dejaremos huella, solo polvo de estrellas, polvo de estrellas. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Se aprende en la escuela, se olvida en la guerra, un hijo te vuelve a enseñar. Está en el espejo, está en las trincheras, parece que nadie parece notar que toda victoria es nada, toda vida es sagrada. Un enjambre de moléculas puestas de acuerdo de forma provisional, un animal prodigioso con la delirante obsesión de querer perdurar. No dejaremos huella, solo polvo de estrellas,
polvo de estrellas. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale una vida lo que un sol, una vida lo que un sol vale. Vale.
Creston is the home of the Manitou Foundation. Hanne Strong has been working with the environment and indigenous people for the past 54 years and have learned so much. With these modern techniques, Hanne is spearheading the creation of a global restoration curriculum. We see this initiative as one of the best around to mitigate climate change.
So World Environment University was one of his latest dreams. And part of that was what we've been working on here in Colorado, is to teach young people how to restore ecosystems. But first, restore yourself and restore your relationship to the elements, the sacred elements that give life. Because unless you're in balance with the elements, there's not much you can do.
There are many restoration camps around America and Europe. Young people doing a great job in being trained to restore the land. Thank God our society is awakening to the need that we have to restore the ecosystems that are damaged on our planet.
Hello, I'm John Liu. For the past 3 decades, I've witnessed and documented that it's possible to rehabilitate large-scale degraded landscapes. This suggests that if we made restoration the central intention of human civilization, we could restore all degraded lands on the earth. This is not only the way to mitigate and adapt to human-induced climate changes. This is also the way to ensure peace and sustainability and justice. We could ensure that everyone has meaningful and purposeful work. We could ensure that everyone had food security. We could ensure that our children and future generations of life would live on a fully functional earth. This is the great work of our time. We all have a role to play in restoring the earth, and we have a huge opportunity. We have the chance to live the change that we want to see on the earth.
My name is Ronald Kavoye, Coordinator Camp Human Nature in Uganda. I am happy we are sharing today about our efforts that we are doing in ecosystem restoration, and we have various activities including tree planting, seed collection, training and education of the community, wildlife conservation, that is the chimpanzees and other birds and other nature within the ecosystem. We are doing a lot of other things, but our aim is to make sure we combat climate change and we have regenerative agriculture going on within the community. We do inclusive community participation, and we are calling upon the volunteers, the supporters, the donors, and the people who can really support us in this endeavor to go ahead with us so that we reach our goal. I am so grateful and I thank you so much so that we do together this.
I want to honor the work of Maurice Strong, who is our champion for the environment, as we celebrate World Environment Day this year on the theme Restore Our Planet. And I am doing my part to restore the balance on Earth by working on large-scale restoration of mountain ecosystems up in the highlands of the Himalayas, all the way down to the Indian Ocean, to restore mangrove ecosystems by the Bay of Bengal and the Andaman Sea in Myanmar and India and Bangladesh and also Sri Lanka. Our goal is to plant 1 billion trees in the next 10 years to draw down 1 billion tons of carbon from the atmosphere in our fight against climate change. Now's the time to engage millions of people around our planet in this UN decade for ecosystem restoration. And I want to thank Hanne Strong and all her team in the Earth Restoration Camp.
So, the Earth Restoration Corps, we trained, hundreds, maybe thousands of kids right here in Crestone. Restore yourself, learn how to restore ecological systems, and the third proponent is have a green livelihood. And we taught kids how to start a business, making mud bricks or tiles or organic farming, collecting of seeds, just very benign green livelihoods.
Hello, I'm Leo Lachère at Eco Camp Coyote. One of the things we're doing here is restoring the keystone species, which is the oak, around here, and perennializing the food supply for the humans. Check out some of these trees. We got live oak, valley oak, we got chestnuts, avocados, loquats. It's going crazy around here, and it's great.
Shumei built its Sacred Earth Center here because of the vision that Maurice Strong and Hanne Strong had to develop a spiritual community here in Crestone. As a teenage boy, Maurice lived with the Inuit people of northern Canada. I believe this experience helped him to deepen respect for nature and the spiritual awareness, which led to his pioneer environmental protection through his work with the United Nations. I am deeply grateful to and respectful of the profound work Maurice Strong did for our planet.
Hi, it's Michel from Campo Esperto in Brazil. This place 4 years ago was just grassland, a very dry and compacted soil due to grazing land, and now it's a thriving syntropic farming system with a lot of bananas, exotic fruits, and native species too. And we are about to plant 2,000 trees above this agroforestry and connect both areas and restore water cycle, restore the habitat for the presence of human in this environment.
Shumei International would like to pay tribute to Mr. Maurice Strong, who encouraged us to obtain consultative status with the United Nations. We followed his recommendation, and since 2004, we have been advocating for agroecology through natural agriculture, harmony with nature, appreciation of art and beauty, and the role of spirituality in guiding our actions on earth. These areas are the foundation of our philosophy. He has always been a strong advocate for civil society participation, starting with the 1972 Stockholm Conference. We're grateful for his lifelong work to create a better world, and his example has inspired our own work and many others around the world. Let's all take action to care for Mother Earth. Thank you.
At Only1 Earth Life, we decided to start a campaign called Message in a Bottle. We are calling all you people out there to record a video message saying what you want to see in the world.
Yes, what you feel is not right and you want to see is better. Record a video and post in your timeline, and don't forget to tag us Only1 Earth Life and Message in a Bottle 2022. We love this song so much that we partnered with Rodrigo Santos and Andy Summers to bring a different version for you. Andy, before we hit play, you want to say a few words about the campaign?
Here you go, Andy.
And I'd like to speak to you today about the state of the world, the times we're living in, the damage to the environment, wars, and the failure of political leadership. We need to really get on the case with all this. So please send your thoughts and messages to this website about all these things. Thank you.
Here we go in this summer. Hey, it's Hanne.
Overdriver Duo! Valeu, Andy!
Hey, Rodrigo Santos!
Overdriver Duo!
In the over!